All right, so programming challenge number 2. We're going to do the cell phone plan. Now, this one, I felt way more comfortable with the GUIs and everything in Java. So um, this one looks significantly better than the tax calculator. So I'll kind of go through it really quick. I think as a standard practice from now on, I think I'm going to append or prepend the question up top. I really liked having all the information right here in my program, so I didn't have to keep referring to the book. Just little things that I've learned so far. My imports, I kind of just imported everything, and then some things for arrays. Um, I tend to do this on my scripts at work. Anytime I do Python, I'll have like 30 imports just because you never know what you're going to use. So for this one, I went with 2 combo boxes and 2 check boxes. Um, I started to go with 3 combo boxes, and and I know there's a way to do like a multi-select with a list, but I just thought it was way simpler just to go with the 2 check boxes for the additional options, and then just a text field for the cumulative price. And then I've kind of started everything here. I kind of follow this standard format now. I kind of like creating everything, and then if I have any data that has to be attached to it, I'll put it all here. Um, and I really like arrays, just with my experience in Python with data handling. Just between pandas like data frames and 2D arrays there, or ND arrays and NumPy. I mean, arrays are just too useful. All right, and then so we'll get into it here. So basically, I'll set up my labels, set up my text field for its initial output, um, create my combo boxes, create my check boxes, and then go ahead and add the action event listeners. And then I'll create the panels, add all the objects to the panels, set a grid layout, and then add everything to the window. And yeah, so that's pretty much it as far as the structure goes. Now the event handling was kind of interesting uh, because I actually didn't see. I was almost positive I had seen a get selected index um, whenever I was going through the book the first time, and for some reason I only saw the get selected item for the combo boxes whenever I actually started writing the program. So I went through and I figured out how to basically go into the array with a value and get the index of it out, and then I was using that to set the index value, and then get the output value um, from the price arrays. Um, but then whenever I took the quiz just a few minutes ago, I saw the get selected index, and I'm like, duh, I did see it. So I went back and changed them. This is a much neater way of doing it. You don't. I probably don't even have to have the import for the array list stuff. Um, yeah. So essentially, um, it handles these events, and it picks the value out of the array, and then here is just every time you check a checkbox, it sets the original value back to 0, and then checks both boxes to see what's actually checked or not. And then every one of these runs another method called setPrice, which is essentially just taking and setting a variable price out to the addition of all 3 of the category variables, and adding the 6% tax, and then putting it out into the text field. And then we'll pull this one up really quick. Alrighty, so with the other one, until there's any events that happen, it starts at 0. But as soon as we do an event, then we can see that our money loads in here. And this one right here is the lowest plans, $47.70. I think it's supposed to be $45. Yeah, so $45, and then $29.99. So we should see like a $31 jump up to like 70. Yep, so we're at 79. And then this one's 5, and this one's 10. And then as you take them away, well, these you can't go away because you have to pick one of these. But as you change them, the price changes. I have no reason to believe that they're not accurate. I haven't actually added them up, but um, I know according to these first two, it's correct, and these add the 5 and the 10 like they're supposed to. So, with the assumption that the 300 and the 100 are correct, because I've checked those, I can only assume the others are jumping up the correct values. I mean, there's no reason to assume not to. I mean, they're jumping up in the correct interval as far as first, medium, last, and all that. So that was this one. This one was pretty easy actually. I blazed through it in about, I don't know, 45 minutes. I kind of used the same setup as I did the other one. Uh, I know in the book they like to use those the panel builders, and they'll set every single panel. So like they would have done the minutes box or the where are we at here? Yeah, so they would have created like the minute panel, and then they would have had a method that for one creates the panel and then creates every object to go on the panel, and everyone would be all nice and pretty. And while that's neat, I feel like me as a beginner in Java, um, I really need to be writing them out like this, so I know, hey, here's all these items, here's all this piece, and if I categorize them like this, then it really helps me keep focused. If I'm looking for a panel, I know where to go right here, bam. Whereas, once I get a little bit more experienced, I think it would be good to go ahead and set those methods up so I can make it nice and tidy. I can literally just call, you know, uh, whatever I've got to set up here for like the data and stuff, and then just pass it into methods, and it'll be super clean. And then the end of my program, or my initial constructor would be like, right here. It would just be this, and then call a few things, and then boom, end of constructor. And then it just goes into the methods, and it really modularizes everything. And I know that's the point of Java. It's very modular, but for me to understand it, I've kind of kept everything in my constructor just to try to fortify these ideas with at least the GUI anyway, because the GUI is definitely an interesting animal. Um, like I said with Python, I've dealt with TK interface quite a bit, but I'm really glad we're learning this because I can take this back to work and actually implement it that way. All right, well that's all I've got. It works great. It was great fun this week. Yeah, if you have any criticism, let me know. I'm open to whatever advice slash hey, do it this way you got. All right, have a good weekend.